What's up, YouTube? Big Don here. So, when I went to go and check the recording for this podcast, I found something hilarious, which I completely forgot about. But you guys, if you do not enjoy bloopers or hearing someone talk to themselves for 18 minutes, you might want to skip ahead to around the 18, 19-minute mark. I don't have an exact timestamp because, like always, I wing it. I'm winging this video. So, skip around to 18, 19 minutes. Because there you will find two people actually talking. It seems that night that OBS did not want to cooperate. I actually comment on it in the podcast, but this was recorded about a week ago, and I kind of absolutely forgot about it. So if you enjoy bloopers and listening to a one person conversation, probably thinking I'm nuts. You might want to watch the whole thing, but if not, skip at the 18, 19-minute mark. Enjoy the podcast, guys. I know these haven't gotten many views yet, but hopefully it catches on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second ever It Podcast. This is your host, Big Don, along with co-host, Dan the Man. I think post Rumble, post Takeover, post Rich Swan being cleared. We're just post everything right now. Post Monday Night Raw, post SmackDown, post 205 Live. We have a ton to talk about. We have the... Yes. It's amazing that my birthday fell this year on Rusev Day. It really is. Hopefully I didn't drown us out with this music here, because as you know, before coming on, we were having tons of issues with figuring out the correct volume here. So we're gonna go ahead and fade out. Shinsuke here, just so we can be a little more clear with our speech here. Yes, thank you for the birthday wishes. Happy birthday! And I mean, it is wonderful. It is wonderful that it falls on Rusev Day. It is absolutely amazing. I didn't expect it to happen. I even though every day's Rusev Day, I still didn't expect it to happen. How lucky am I that it fell on Rusev Day? What's the word I'm looking for? Close. Still not the word I'm looking for. Oh yeah. I would say it's pretty glorious that it happens to fall on Rusev Day, and there's a reason why I chose that word. You know why. We will get to that in a little bit, though. But kicking off the show here, I say we just jump feet first. I'd give it a solid A. I wouldn't quite. I'd go A, maybe borderline A plus. It was quite honestly, and it's not just because of who like won the two Rumbles and all that. It was quite possibly it helped a little bit. It definitely helped a little bit. It was quite possibly one of the most entertaining Rumbles from bell to bell in the last 10 years. So I personally loved every second of it. There were a couple matches that did fall flat, but that's to be expected. You can't follow up you can't follow up the men's Royal Rumble with a Raw Tag Team Championships. It's gonna fall flat. It's you don't. You don't, and that's that's partly why. Yeah, you're just not going to be remembered. It's not going to be a good time. But that being said, they did still put on a good match, good storytelling at least. I did like their angle that they were angle. I did like their angle that they were going with there. It's definitely interesting. Uh, it's no hey it's yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. No, they did it. I feel like they did it perfectly. Uh, while I'm figuring this out, I just realized that I still have way too many tabs open here, including Facebook. So I don't want like dings going off like crazy, because I'm sure I'm gonna get some birthday notifications at some at some point. I already have people liking. I already have people liking the post that I'm live and getting messages. So I'm like, okay, let me just X this out real quick. Um, but for everything that the Royal Rumble was, uh, there is a giant MMA female elephant in the room, and she does not give a damn about her reputation at all. She came in, pointed at the WrestleMania sign, smiled, tried to shake Asuka's hand, got her hand smacked, proceeded to point at the Mania sign again, uh, and then just that's that's one of the freaking that's one of the low points of the whole night. That's honestly that's kind of what makes it borderline uh borderline the A plus. It's like, oh man, and I mean, not for nothing, but I understand why they had Maria Menounos there as the special guest ring announcer. She's been through a lot the past year. She had that brain tumor removed and all that, and because she has wrestled at WrestleMania before and all that, and I believe that if she was healthy, she would have trained and been in this Rumble. So I mean, I get why they had her as ring announcer. However, Philadelphia is not kind to a lot of people. Um, but yeah, Philadelphia wasn't kind to her. Plus, she did not do that great of a job. She was like she screamed the names a little bit. I mean, it's understandable. Yeah, it's completely it's completely understandable though why she didn't do that great of a job, because she's not a professional ring announcer. No, she is a professional interviewer, so I mean she should. You would think she'd have some sort of crossover there, but I get it. It's fine. I have. It might have been like maybe a Snapchat live story or an Instagram live story, where she was just happened to be live on one of them, and I mean, obviously not paying attention, but I mean the spot still went off without a hitch, so can't really be too mad there. No, yeah, yeah. The only thing I didn't, and again, it's nitpicking here. It's really really nitpicking because I think it was a phenomenal show. Uh, it's just I'm sort of getting over the Vince McMahon style Michael Cole commentary, because it's something like me and my other friends all agree on, is when he did that show, when Michael Cole did the commentary for the Japan show that they had on the network, compared to like his weekly commentary, it's tens of thousand miles better. Like, it's like, oh, he actually, he's a good commentator. But with Vince in his ear, it's starting to get. It's to the point where when I heard that they were bringing Jonathan Coachman back for Raw, I thought he was replacing Michael Cole. Because it's still an improvement. But my biggest part about that whole spot was, oh my God, we've never seen anything like this before. And in my mind, I'm going, except Kofi Kingston for the last 7 flipping years. Exactly. No, exactly. It was kind of. Yeah, he. It, we've never seen a chair. Yes, we have. Michael, you're off your meds again, buddy. You need to get back on them. Because a chair's definitely been used to get back into the ring before. But all in all, good spot. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, if they don't have it again, it'll be a travesty. I loved it. I loved it. But to be fair, she always looks like she's gonna kill herself on that moonsault. So doesn't. Yeah, yeah, a little bit. Especially when I forget who decided to skip the. There was someone who decided to skip the Grammys and went to the Royal Rumble instead, and they Snapchatted the whole. Like they Snapchatted a lot of the men's Rumble and the women's Rumble, and and they had an angle, like perfect angle to see Lita's moonsault, and you see how close she was to just like smashing her head into the freaking canvas. And I'm like, okay, Lita, I think you might want to you might want to work on that for next year, because Lord knows we're still not going to have enough women next year to fill out a full 30. So you're still going to have the surprise entrance next year. Next year, I have a feeling they're going to try different ones, but I think they're still going to depend on like Trish and Lita. Well, to be fair, I don't think that anyone taught Alicia Fox how to go over the top rope properly either. If she broke her tailbone before before going into the Rumble. But yeah, no, it's a fair criticism. To be fair, these women like Tori Wilson, Kelly Kelly, and all that, they like first of all they were in phenomenal shape. Phenomenal shape. They look great. You could tell that they were actually working on their in-ring ability for just even one moment, which is kind of surprising. I figured they would just rest on their skills from how they were back in the day. Like, obviously, like, it's one of the things that I get flack for when I talk wrestling is how much Kelly was at the end improving. I felt like she was improving to the fact where she could become like the next Trish when she decided to leave, because she started off complete hot garbage, and yeah, and folks who don't know old school ECW, and by old school ECW I mean WWE ECW, that is 100% a fact. She was 19 years old when she was brought into WWE, and on WWE ECW, she was part of a group called Extreme Expose, which was herself, if you guys follow Impact Wrestling /TNA /GFW /whatever they're calling it now, Brooke Tossmacher, and I believe Layla L, right? Yeah, and Layla. So it was those three, and they would do, like, obviously, Extreme Expose. They were sort of, the entertainment, if you will, for ECW. But she started off there like that. Yeah, she had the angle of Mike Knox, better known in TNA. Yep. 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 No, it's not starting to sound like Sammy and KO here, but yep. It was god awful. But to see where she came from in the short time that she was, I mean, it wasn't really a short time that she was in WWE. I think it was like 5 or 6 years. So, yeah, no, exactly. No, it's extremely night and day, and it's sort of another funny thing is, like, you go in there and you watch, if you watch the Rumble, you see Tori Wilson, and Tori Wilson's looking like she could, like she's vastly improved. Like, it's amazing because, like, it's just amazing to me because Tori Wilson was never a quote unquote wrestler. Yeah. And then they actually had to teach her how to wrestle in WWE. Uh, like, because she in WCW, I see. I'm a fan of late WCW and all that, so obviously I'm familiar with Tori and Stacy Keibler and all that. I don't remember Tori having a match, and if she did, it wasn't. It couldn't have been a good one. It had to have been like a match against like Major Guns or something, and and it had to have been like Vince Russo on a pole match. like it had to, like, I don't remember her wrestling at all in WCW. Yeah. It was horrible. Like, some of that stuff was god awful, and I'll be the first to admit that. But yeah. Let's see here. I was gonna look up if Tori had a match or not, but so I think we have a little I think we have a little problem here. Just because I'm looking at my desktop audio right now, and go ahead and speak again real quick for me. Yeah, no levels whatsoever. What in the hell is going on? So whoever's whoever's watching this, and it sounds like I'm talking to myself, which is kind of hilarious. Uh, God damn it! I did I do all this for nothing? Let me see what's going on. It was working. It was working fine before, because you, like, when you were talking before, the desktop audio was going upwards and downwards. So, like, I don't know why it's not picking it up now. This freaking wonderful thing here. Let's see. Yeah, bringing up Russo, the whole thing had to die. So, let's see here. Should I stop the recording and restart it, or just continue on after this? That's the main question. Probably stop and restart, which will really piss me off, but, I don't know why this is... Why are you not coming through? That... Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
The entire universe can't hear me.
Okay, talk again.
But the entire universe can't hear me.
Okay, so what happened,
what had happened was...
Yeah, what had happened was, it switched over from, picking up you in the headset and all that, to picking up my speaker, and my speaker, I guess you're not coming, that makes zero sense. Like, if I went to go and play the, Spotify, if I want to go, like, okay, here, let me play Spotify again, see if it comes through with the headset. Okay.
We're just going to keep this all in.
Yeah, I think we should. It just show how unprofessional we are.
Professionally unprofessional.
Yeah, professionally unprofessional. This is live TV, folks. Anything can happen here in the Twitch TV. Okay, so now I have it going through the Bluetooth mic here, right? And so you're getting picked up on in the desktop audio, but the music's not.
Okay, so what is it? Either me or music?
I guess that's what's sort of happening. I don't know, but at least now it doesn't sound like I'm talking to myself. I mean, that's kind of cool.
I just want to see how long you were talking to yourself. That's funny as hell.
20 minutes. Probably like 18 minutes is my guess, because it looked like you.
So basically, this whole time, people are like, "Yeah, why did you just go silent for like 5 seconds?"
Yeah, like, man, this is like, God damn it, OBS. Like, I don't understand how that happened. I literally do not understand how this happened. And whoever that third viewer is. Yep.
Welcome.
Yep. I just got a message on Facebook. You had one job. God.
You had one job, sir. One job.
I can't even argue. I had one job. Like, I wonder how long they were gonna wait to tell me that. Like, I'm talking to myself too. Like, they just let me figure it out on my own. Like, they've been watching this all time, and it's just like, as soon as I figure it out, you had one job. Thanks. Couldn't have let me know beforehand.
No,
cool.
Absolutely not.
Then it wouldn't be trolling. So I mean, that's fair. That's completely fair. God, like, how do I? This is okay. So this is the first and last time that I am ever using this Bluetooth mic, because just for the simple fact that even last week with the podcast, I used a different headset mic, and at least everything from the desktop was going through it as well.
Right.
Instead of just you. So, like, the audio was coming through and all that fine. And obviously, I have not stopped recording, because I'm just going to be that guy. And I might edit it. I might edit it out and just save it for a blooper reel.
I love blooper reels.
Yeah. So this whole conversation here, this would be a nice little blooper reel, maybe. I don't know. I might just keep it in and and be like, and have be like those old YouTube videos. Have one of those frickin' little pop-up bubbles come up. Skip to 23:44 in the video if you want to hear an actual conversation.
Watch the entire thing if you want a complete laugh.
Right. Yeah. Watch the first 20 minutes, and you'll get you'll laugh your ass off. So I have to figure this out. It sucks because so what I'm gonna have to do to end this is when we're done, I'm gonna literally have to go to desktop audio, switch it over to the speaker again. By that time, hopefully the speaker doesn't die, and then put the speaker on, and then play the outro music through that. Like, this is too much work.
I'll just make sure I say goodbye well in advance.
This is horrible. This is just ugh. It disgusts
so much.
me. But oh well, life's life's something. Okay, so anyways, we're back, I guess, right?
Yeah, I'm officially here. Hi.
Yeah, apparently we had audio issues, and wouldn't it be a freaking laugh if I go back through to when I rewatch this and I can actually hear you on the video?
No, that would be fucking funny.
And you just like weren't coming through on the stream, because that would be the ultimate freaking troll. That would be. I would laugh. I would. That would be posted, and I'd post it on Reddit. I'd post it on my Facebook. I'd just be like, "Here you go, guys. Have some pure comedic gold." So, anyways, quick topics that were touched on. You could obviously hear me talking about them, but you've probably assumed I was losing my mind. There was another person on the other end answering. Yeah, and here's Stan again. Hey, Stan.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, yeah. FML. Alrighty, so topics that we've already covered within this quick little 26 minutes here. We covered, well, we didn't really cover the giant elephant in the room yet. But we covered a lot of the women's.
We were getting there.
We're getting there. We covered a lot of the women's rumble. Some cliff notes for those who skipped. Tori Wilson and Kelly looked fantastic. Same with a lot of the other returnees. All of them looked like they could still go in the ring. A lot of them looked improved from their last time in the ring. Maria Menounos shouldn't have been the ring announcer, but we understand why she was. And she could use some practice. Stephanie McMahon should not be on commentary ever again.
No. In fact, if Stephanie McMahon was never on my TV screen again, I would not complain.
No, I might complain. I might complain a little bit. I enjoy Stephanie as a character. I don't enjoy Stephanie as a commentator. She did not inherit that from Vince. Vince, at least.
So there are good and bad to Stephanie McMahon as a character. I think I've discussed this maybe once before, maybe not on this forum, but maybe in other places. As a character and as a villain, the one thing that made Vince so good is Vince got his comeuppance on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
Stephanie McMahon gets her comeuppance and looks foolish maybe once a year.
Yeah.
Every other time she's just cutting people's balls off.
Yeah. Well, see, one of the big things you can't have nowadays, anyways, because a lot of the times it's just can't really get comeuppance like when she's like dealing with a male superstar or whatever. Because like you saw how they handled Raw 25. If this was I think on Raw 1000 she took a stunner. Like so even like 5-6 years ago, she would have still been in the ring with Shane and Vince and would have taken a stunner from Stone Cold. But due to the times that we are in today, they had to have her leave the ring. They had her leave the ring, and and the commentary, oh no, Stephanie has to watch Shane and her father get stunned, and all. I'm like,
I mean, but at least like have Austin come up in front of her, like give her the fucking finger right in her face. Like do something with her.
But you can't do that. You can't do that. He flipped off a woman. Oh my God, WWE's sexist. WWE's this. WWE's that. It's like, because they're afraid of the minority people who would think that would be a problem.
Right.
They're just so afraid of that minority of people. And to my to counteract that is, if you think that was sexist, why don't you watch some Attitude Era shit?
If you think that was sexist, you have not been watching this product.
Have you met Vince McMahon? Like,
funny enough, I didn't think this was gonna come up at all. But anybody who follows me on Twitter, I retweeted a post from at least somewhat of a big deal in New England kind of manager. He was a former manager. I think he's retired now, but goes by the name of Sean Gorman.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very nice guy. Very well thought, well spoken kind of guy. Who tweeted during the Women's Royal Rumble, or towards the end of it, and I quote, to quote Michael Cole, "Third wave feminists should take a cue from the woman in the hashtag Royal Rumble. You'll never get anywhere in life portraying yourself as a victim. These women smashed a very real patriarchy with hard work and a stiff upper lip. Well done, ladies." End quote.
Yeah. They were the ones who were like, and it's funny because you see on just like seeing some of the comments on Facebook pages about how, oh, great, if the Women's Rumble is going to be main eventing, I can go to bed early. Or, oh, if the Women's Royal Rumble is last, I don't have to watch it. I can go take a piss and all that. I'm like, are you I don't get those, like, that was a fun. I'm not gonna say.
Meanwhile,
okay.
on Raw, you had Asuka and Sasha Banks in one of the best matches on that show.
Yeah. But people
granted, I thought Sasha Banks broke herself in half again when she did the suicide dive into the kick, and I was like, oh, that is scary.
Yeah.
Stop, please, Sasha, for the love of God, stop doing that.
Yeah, Mick Foley. Yeah, I think it's time to take that one out of your repertoire. Yeah, I think he's correct. But it's saddening to see those comments. It's like, this isn't, like, even back in the day, I thought, like, the women were always fun to watch, at least. Like, I understand that, they weren't taken seriously back 10 years ago or so, but ever since ever since NXT started, they have been getting taken seriously. Like, how is this new to people? It's been going on 5+ years. This should not be new. Like, people automatically judging, oh, the match is gonna suck because it has women in it. Okay, hate to tell you, buddy, but that's,
it's not the case anymore.
First of all, that's not the case, and also that's a little sexist. I'm like these women are fierce competitors. They, like, it's something that we were touching on earlier when we were having the audio issues, but every single woman who, like, besides like Vicky Guerrero, because Vicky Guerrero was supposed to be a comedic spot anyways.
By the way, popped for Vicky Guerrero.
Right. I was
solely on the basis that I called that she was going to be in the Rumble.
Nice.
My buddy was like, no way, not happening. I'm like, no, Vicky Guerrero, she's in.
Nice. Yeah, no, I was happy to see her in, but, like, all these women who came back, Jacqueline, who's, God, is she in her 50s now?
Might be.
Let me see.
She still looks like she can kick my ass.
Oh no, she definitely could. Jacqueline, WWE. She is 54.
She looks great for 54.
She looks phenomenal for 54. She definitely could kick my ass at 54. Like, I'm not even gonna deny that. Like, she can and probably would kick my ass.
Like, Beth Phoenix came back and, picked up Big Nia Jax.
No, exactly.
And one of the cooler spots of that show, or that pay-per-view, Royal Rumble, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. All these women who came back, whether, I understand, like, all the surprise entrants were probably one-offs, though it seems like they planted a seed for Trish to be at Mania. So that would be kind of cool to have Trish in a match at Mania. But, they all looked like they trained their hardest to get back, especially the ones with little skills from before. Tori Wilson was looking good, was, hitting moves left and right. And
Michelle McCool looked good.
Yeah, Michelle McCool looked good. They all looked good. They all looked to be in shape. They all did their
props
spots.
to WWE for giving them, like, the ability to have some shine.
No, exactly. Like, these are like all the women who were in the Rumble wanted to be taken seriously, at least. Like, even the ones who back in the day were the sex symbols or whatever, they always wanted to be taken seriously. You can ask Fit Finlay that, because Fit Finlay's been freaking lobbying for the women to be taken more seriously in WWE ever since he joined them as a road agent way back in the early 2000s. Like, he was lobbying hard because he was the one who he was the agent for the women. He always, he's like, these women can go, give them a shot, and it took years. It took years, and now, here we are with Women's Rumble, and now in a match
Women's Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah, and
which I am ecstatic for.
Dude, I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. It's going to be a great match, and I already know people on the internet are, oh, great. Now the women can wreck the chamber too. I'm like, how are they gonna wreck it? Like,
yeah, how can they wreck it?
It's literally a match that just has steel surrounding the ring. How do you fuck that up? Not even like they could have had a let's see.
I think the only way they could wreck it is by having Bobby Lashley win it.
Right. Roman Reigns just comes in, Superman punches everybody, and just takes the
Roman Reigns is the women's champion.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's like literally the only way that would happen. They aren't gonna screw it up. Like, I don't think they could. I don't think there's any possible way they could screw it up. These women are competent now. They're not gonna. I mean, there's going to be botches in every match, male or female. There was botches in the men's Rumble, but people aren't. The critics, and by critics I mean people commenting on Facebook, are intentionally choosing not to focus on the men's Rumble botches, and to just focus on, oh, Sasha Banks wasn't even kicking her for 3 seconds. How many times has, like, back in the day, Stone Cold clearly missed doing mud hole stomps? Like that's
honestly, why does it matter?
No, exactly. It's just something that gets under my skin a little bit.
I can tell you're heated, fired up.
Yeah, I'm a little heated over that. But at the same time, everyone's obviously entitled to their opinion and yada yada yada, bullshit.
To be honest, and I might come off as a little bit of a controversial opinion, maybe. I found the women's Royal Rumble more entertaining than the men's.
No, it was. I see, but the only reason it was, for me at least, more entertaining was because of the sheer amount of surprise entrants, like legitimate surprise entrants. Because we knew.
I think it might have also been. I honestly didn't know what to expect. Like, oh, how's it going to be set up? How are they going to do it? How are they going to portray it? Who's going to be number one? Who's going to be number two? Like, I was actually interested in all of these questions.
No,
Whereas, like,
I was.
with the men's, it's like, I kind of figure I know who's going to win. I really don't care who's number one. I mean, I like the fact that, Finn Balor came in number 2 and was the Iron Man of the match, going, how many, what was it, 57.55 minutes?
No, yeah. My biggest thing, right, with what made the, like, obviously, as you said, it wasn't as predictable as the men's, as you said. But I liked the fact that, like, for me, every year, like, my expectations for the men's is set so low. Like, because last year they had Orton win it. Year before that they had Reigns. It's like, okay, they're going to find some way to fuck this up again.
Mm-hmm.
So, my expectations were higher for the women's. The men's surprised me, obviously. The men's was phenomenal. But for me, the biggest thing for why the women's did well for me was the pure surprises. I'm not talking about the Litas and Trishas. I'm talking about
Michelle
seeing
McCool, Jacqueline. Jacqueline was a surprise to me. I didn't expect her at all.
The ones that were a complete surprise to me were, because I figured Michelle McCool was going to be in it, because Undertaker, obviously. I figured she'd be in Philly, so I figured she'd be in it. The legitimate surprises for me were Vicky Guerrero, Jacqueline, and probably Molly Holly.
Molly Holly, I actually, because I'll be perfectly honest with a little, like, nerdy, weirdish kind of game that when I have people over for the Rumble, we do. We put a bunch of names in a hat and we just kind of draw some names, and hey, who knows, maybe you'll have the one that wins it. And Molly Holly was actually one of the names in the hat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's kind of similar. Like, we actually have, for our groups here, we have a championship belt, and we do predictions on, like, for every pay-per-view. We don't do it for takeovers, because takeovers don't need the fun factor. Most of the time, WWE pay-per-views need a little boost. So we do it for every pay-per-view. We do predictions, and whoever gets the most predictions right gets the belt. Gets to have the belt at their place for till next pay-per-view and all that.
Okay.
So I made my predictions. I went with my. See, if I played it smart, I would have won. if I actually played it smart and went with actual predictions instead of being like, please let this, like I picked Braun to win. I'm like, please, Reigns and Lesnar doesn't need the belt. Just get I'm like, give Braun the belt. So I'm.
I think we're at the point with Braun Strowman, like, why does he not have the belt?
Yeah, we're definitely to that point, especially with the character that's showing up on Mixed Match Challenge, which is basically the way he is. Like like Vince has to see like dollar sign in him, because he's protecting him too. Like having Kane take the pinfall and stuff like that. They don't want Braun
then take an entire stage.
Yeah, yeah. I see money in Braun too. I fucking love Braun. Like, he should be the champion, but it's one of those things where I think creative / Vince and all them, they had this, and credit to them, credit to them for trying to do something that they used to do back in the day and build up a year-long story of having Reigns and Lesnar. But it's a match that I personally don't want to see. I know there's some people who are Lesnar fans, and don't get me wrong, it's going to be a beatdown. It's going to be another brawl. It's going to be a Lesnar match, obviously. And it's going to be a decent match, and it's just something I don't want to see because I know what the result's going to be. And you can't have Reigns. Like here's my logic to this, right? You started off the year with if there was any indication of how bad this feud's going to wind up being, you started off the year with Reigns saying it's his yard now and all that, and cutting that heelish like promo, and it was the most downvoted video on YouTube for WWE in 2017. So that should give you your first clue that this feud's probably not going to go well. Fast forward the first 2 or 3 months, Reigns doesn't beat Strowman at all.
No.
Strowman just keeps murdering Reigns. So, Braun wins the ambulance match, Braun wins this, Braun wins that, and Braun has all this momentum. And Reigns has zero momentum. Okay, he beats? He becomes they have the little Shield reunion. Well, before the they have the Shield reunion. Then he gets the fucking mumps or whatever he got. I think
it was meningitis.
Oh, they said meningitis. See, Dirt Sheet said meningitis. Other places said mumps. Doesn't really matter. It gave us one of the best pay-per-views of 2017. But they did we didn't get to see what the fuck Sister Abigail was and how that was supposed to play out. Yeah.
We instead got AJ Styles and Finn Balor, thank God.
Yeah. No, exactly. We got a phenomenal match between AJ and Finn. We got Kurt Angle looking like a dad who just wants to fit in with his kids. Wearing that vest, looking uncomfortable as fuck, but pulling off a great match. But yeah, got one of the best pay-per-views out of the year of it. So that sidelines them, halts the Shield's momentum and all that. Obviously, then Ambrose gets hurt with the Shield and all that. So when they even tried to get this back going with, which I think they were trying to go with, the idea that they were all going to be champions,
right,
and all that. So they were trying to go with that idea. Unfortunately, obviously Ambrose gets hurt.
Insert Jason Jordan, which is not a good insert.
It's not a good insert whatsoever. And then you have Reigns just being Reigns. And so okay, cool. You haven't beat the Miz. Okay, he's getting a titch of momentum again. And I mean, I'm so happy that Miz beat Roman, but there goes that little bit of momentum again. So now, you're trying to tell me, because I see where they're going with this, and I don't like it. They're trying to make Reigns the underdog in this match, and they're gonna try to be all John Cena about him. And Reigns overcame the odds, and he beats Lesnar on the grandest stage of them all. Oh my God, he's the new Universal Champion. And
they're probably gonna have him do something silly like, he's gonna be number 1 entrant in the Elimination Chamber.
No, exactly.
Or God forbid they do the Bobby Lashley thing. It's like, well, he was in the Elimination Chamber, but he was the last one to come in.
Yep.
Or one of the last people to come in.
Yep. Now I can see where this is going to, and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope this because
after seeing everything that Braun has destroyed over the last year, I don't think we can have an Elimination Chamber match with Braun Strowman in it. Because I could see him just destroying the entire chamber. And that would be an awesome sight.
Yeah, and you see where this is going, right? the final two in the chamber are going to be Braun and Reigns is going to beat Braun for the first time. And that's how Reigns is going to... And Reigns has punched his ticket to WrestleMania. And
meanwhile, everyone in Arizona is walking out disappointed, pissed off, and booing.
Honestly, so back to the little game that we do here for pay-per-views. This year we did picks on the Rumble, but we also had numbers 1 through 30. So we picked, for each Rumble we picked a number, and whoever the numbers we got, if they happen to win the Rumble, you get 2 extra points. So complete random luck of the draw. So I forget which number I got for the women's. But for the men's, now I picked Roman Reigns to win, and it was me trying to be like smart about it, because it was either going to be him or Shinsuke, and I don't know why, but I felt like Vince would not go with Shinsuke for some reason. And then they'd find
wouldn't trust Shinsuke just yet.
Yeah, I figured they'd still go with Shinsuke versus AJ, but they'd find a different way.
Right.
The biggest tip-off factor for me that I forgot about was that Elimination Chamber is not a SmackDown pay-per-view this year, that it's a Raw pay-per-view. So if I had remembered that Elimination Chamber was Raw, I probably would have went with Shinsuke. But as it happens to turn out, I'm sad that I have to pick Roman. But what number do I get for the Rumble? But number 28. And who is number?
Also Roman Reigns.
And who is number 28? It's Roman Reigns. And the thing was, if we happen to get the person that, so if Reigns had won the Rumble, and I got his number, I would have gotten 5 extra points. So I'm at this point, I'm sort of going, oh my God, I have to root for Reigns. I'm like, I fucked myself here. I'm like, go Roman, but then I'm going, go Shinsuke, please go Shinsuke. But that's just something fun. That's just something funny.
I have
that
to admit, at the end, I was very much in the same boat as the fans in Philadelphia, where they were like, oh God, we get John Cena and Roman Reigns in the ring, and we have the people we actually might want to win. Please.
Yeah. And then they eliminate Finn, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, okay, they eliminated Finn. I'm like, okay, that means one of two things is happening: Reigns is winning or Nakamura is winning. Because I just had a feeling that Shinsuke would eliminate John for some reason. I just felt like that would happen, and it did happen. And then everyone was just on the edge of their seats.
Which I mean is probably for the best. It's at least good for the match to have the crowd that much involved in it.
Yeah, they got that right.
Granted, it's not for the reason you want it, but hell, they're involved and they're on their feet and they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And they're playing along with their own narrative. It's not necessarily the narrative WWE wants, because WWE really wants this Roman Reigns guy to be a babyface. Yeah,
quote unquote babyface. He is the biggest heel in the company, and they don't even realize it. That's just the way it is, though. That's literally the way it is. But this
now,
is
as far as actually one other point about the men's Rumble, and I'm going to actually have it as a callback to people coming back and being in really, really good shape. Did you see how good Rey Mysterio looked?
Well, that was actually going to be my transition. I was going to transition to, we can talk about the men's Rumble now that we've vented about the women's, and we've sort of gotten a little bit of a Roman Reigns kick. But Mysterio looking like he's going to go wrestle Ultimate Dragon in WCW, circa 1997. He was.
I've seen him a couple of times, and that has got to be the best I've seen him look in years.
He's in phenomenal shape. Absolutely phenomenal shape. Doesn't look like he has that, like the steroid body anymore. Like the little bloatiness or whatever.
Nope.
Like he looks
not just massive out of his mind to look massive.
Yeah, he looks healthy. He looks like Rey Mysterio again. And what's really crappy is, from what I understand from, because I read the sheets every now and again, obviously, but from what I'm seeing is they don't want to give him a part-time schedule. Rey wants the part-time, wants a part-time schedule, and not even necessarily a Lesnar schedule, more like a Jericho schedule. So, like, he wants to just do, like, okay, I'll work 3 months, then, you can write me off, and I'll be back in 1 or 2, and I'll work a few, like, apparently
right.
WWE wants him full-time. He does not want to do full-time. And I don't want him to do full-time either. And I'll tell you why. The last time he did full-time, he hurt himself.
Badly.
So why would you go and put yourself through the full-time rope schedule again and all that? Even if they cut away, it's because they wanted to do all the house shows, and I get why. He's a merch machine.
He is.
He sells a
the
ton
mask
of masks.
sells itself.
The mask sells itself. Even with non-wrestling fans, they just think, oh, it's a cool fucking mask, and they'll buy it. So I fucking understand. He's a merch seller. He's a ratings getter. But you're not going to have any of that if he doesn't get what he wants. So why don't you just give the man what he wants?
God forbid the guy blows his knee out.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're missing out on them. Like,
it's
better to have some merch than none.
It's the old saying, like when they all did the old try this at home. It's like, I've had surgery 5 times on my right knee.
Exactly.
No, it's like, let this guy work part-time, let this guy stay healthy, look good, and be a big deal.
Because he has the complete star power that, people from the 90s know him, people from the 2000s know him, people in Mexico know him, people, all over know him. People who don't even watch WWE anymore, I used to watch him in WCW. He has that generational appeal. He has earned his legend status. He might not be, Undertaker at 55, or Goldberg coming out and doing a part-time schedule, and he's still young in that sense that he has many years left before he probably should retire. Like, give him what he wants. He could be a big contributor. Hell, throw his ass on 205 Live. You want to see how fast ratings go up? Like,
people will start watching 205 Live if they see Rey Mysterio on it.
You put friggin' Gregory Helms on there. You put Hurricane on it. Have him do the dual gimmick. Then you put Rey Mysterio on it as well. I mean, you got yourself a party. So which, by the way, did you see who was named the GM?
I did not. I did not get to watch 205 Live.
Oh boy, we have a brand new debut. The new GM of 205 Live is Rockstar Spud.
Oh, good. Good for Rockstar Spuds.
Going by the name Drake Mevlin or something like that. So
it's an awful name.
It's a worse
Then
name.
again, Rockstar Spud wasn't much to brag about either.
It's a much worse name than Rockstar Spud. But like when commentary was like, of course, formerly known as Rockstar Spud in TNA. I'm like, what?
we mentioned this?
I believe they said as Rockstar Spud in TNA, and I believe it was Nigel who said it. So Nigel might be in some shit. But then again, I don't think Nigel gives 2 fucks.
No, because Nigel's actually made the mistake of I forget who was in the match, but he ended up like saying, "And that's what a great main event for Ring of Honor," or something, like in the middle of an NXT broadcast.
God damn it!
Thank you, Mafu, for showcasing that one.
What a great match! Yep. You're still in the Ring of Honor, buddy. Still in Ring of Honor.
We made because that was one of the funnier jokes on the Edge and Christian network exclusive show, where they did like the whole thing with AJ Styles. Like,
will they mention it?
Will they mention the show that AJ Styles dominated for 10 years? And they show Test and Albert. Absolutely not.
I do miss the ENC show that Reeks of Austin does or whatever. The podcast is great. I enjoy listening to the podcast, but I wish WWE would do more originals like that. I mean, I understand they're trying to do documentary stuff and all that, which is still flippin' fucking hilarious that they did that Enzo Amore interview with Corey Graves like a week before he got fired, which is just funny to me. Because I think there's an actual legitimate heat problem between Corey Graves and
I'm pretty sure that came out pretty much very often.
Yeah, it's a legitimate heat issue, and you're gonna put those two together, especially since Enzo said something about his kids. Like you don't do that, Zoe. Which just a quick little update. No update there whatsoever on the Amore case, which I guess no news is good news for Enzo.
And speaking of talking bad about people's kids, so there's a Facebook Live TV thingamabob. It's called Tom vs. Time, showcasing New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady.
Yep.
A sports commentator from radio station up here in New England, Boston area, WEEI.
Yep.
I forget the actual guy's name, but he is now officially suspended because he called, and I quote, Tom Brady's kid a whiny little, I forget or whiny, bratty, something or other, just very negative, and just like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I actually heard about that. It's as much as I don't.
Oh, it was. He did go full on and say pissant, I think.
Yeah, like as much as I don't care for Brady, that's kind of really fucked up that the announcer would do. Like that's just unprofessional. You never bring anyone's kids into it because.
No. Well, you have radio experience, so you would know this a little bit more than I would. As a person who just consumes media that way, this is like that's just very distasteful to me.
Oh no, it's very distasteful. You always want to go over questions first too, and all that, and you don't want to throw anything out of left field either. Like. Not only was that out of left field, and obviously it wasn't even a question, it was just, like, being a dick. Like, that's a good way to get yourself fired. I'm surprised he's not fired and only suspended. But
yeah, as of right now, he's suspended. And WEEI, who had, like, an exclusive, like, generally exclusive kind of call with Brady every week or every handful of days or whatever, they might flat out lose that.
Well, no doubt.
Because he, in the middle of it, like, just like after that was said, he was like, well, I have nothing further to say to you guys. I'm politely hanging up and ending this conversation.
Yeah. No.
Like you might lose Tom Brady interview to your competition, which is even worse.
Which is horrible. People apparently don't think things. I mean, okay, I know people don't think things through, so that's just it's just a case of negligence on their part. As I toss away cans, probably loud enough that people can hear it because we're professionals.
Oh well.
You know, I never even cracked open my beer because I couldn't find the bottle opener, so I'm having a Sprite. So screw it. Oh God, fun times. Let's see here. What else could we touch on here? About
was there anything Royal Rumble wise that surprised you?
Adam Cole, Bebe, and Cien were the legitimate holy shit surprise moments for me. Those were two things I never expected to happen.
I'm becoming a bigger fan of Andrade Cien Almas.
Oh, he's great. I freaking love Cien.
I was one of the few that was lucky enough to see. I think it was one of the NXT shows up in Lowell, the one where Samoa Joe became the new champion over Finn Balor. I was lucky enough to catch a glimpse and see one of Andrade's early matches before they put him on TV.
Yeah.
And he looked just great. I think he was going up against Riddick Moss, if I remember right.
Yeah. It sounds about right. Sorry, I was just checking my YouTube to see how many people have viewed that video. Where I say, "Hey, I'm streaming," and 0. Just the one. But man, it's saying we have one viewer yet we have 2 moderators. How does that work?
I don't know.
That's hilarious to me. All right, let's see here. Touching on Takeover real quick. Nothing too major happened. Just potentially match of the fucking year.
Aleister Black and Adam Cole. Holy shit.
That was a hell of a match, but you know what?
Gargano and
I feel like
Cien
Gargano
Almas.
and Cien topped it. I just feel they topped it. As I'm going to mute myself real quick here. So go ahead and talk about TakeOver real quick.
So I unfortunately didn't get to watch TakeOver. I'm very upset about that. But real life happens. As I was working till, I want to say, like 10 o'clock-ish. So I'll be catching up on that probably tomorrow, since tomorrow's one of my days off. But I've got to see bits and pieces of the Gargano-Almas match that stole the show. And as a person who follows Tommaso Ciampa, saw the attack afterwards, so we are keeping that angle fresh in our minds. Yeah. Okay. I might actually switch topics a little bit and start talking about Monday Night Raw. So, Monday Night Raw after the Royal Rumble, what a show. Absolutely just phenomenal. Flew by. It was one of the fastest 3-hour broadcasts that I've witnessed. Jonathan Coachman on commentary, much different than Booker T, although Coach comes with his own quirks that you either like or dislike. But setting everything up for Elimination Chamber, of course, the big announcement, the first ever women's Elimination Chamber match to crown a new, potentially, or maybe not, a women's champion for Raw. Intriguing to see who besides Alexa Bliss is going to be entering in that match. Any thoughts?
All right, here's my thoughts. I apparently need to take some some sinus medication or something, because I had to mute the mic and go, well, not mute the mic for you, so you probably did not enjoy that. But you know, I had to mute the mic and blow some of the shit out. But hey, we're back to 2 viewers. Apparently it's recognizing me as a viewer again.
There we go. It's a good start.
Go. 2 whole viewers. And the worst part is I have to average a viewership of 3. Which is hilarious. I think I also need to get like 10 followers, but that's neither here nor there. Thoughts on the Women's Elimination Chamber? I think we touched on it when the mic might have been out.
I think so.
On your end, I love it. I don't think that there's any possible way they could screw this up. As you said before, unless like Roman Reigns or Lashley comes in and spears everyone and wins the women's championship.
Now the real question is, I'm going to assume. I know assuming is not necessarily a good thing, but with the rosters being as thin as they are, I think it is easy to assume that you're probably going to see Nia Jax, Bayley, Sasha Banks, possibly, if they have enough confidence in them, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, maybe Mickie James.
Okay, here's my thoughts on who the 6 are going to be. So obviously Asuka's got her shot at Mania.
So Asuka, I would assume Asuka is going to have no part of it.
So yeah, I would assume she would have no part of it, because that wouldn't make any sense, because in order to keep her streak alive, you'd have to have her win the Chamber, and then she won the Rumble too. So what's she gonna do? Win the belt and then challenge Charlotte for hers? Which I mean, in WWE's effed up world could happen, but
yeah.
I just don't believe that's gonna happen. Let's see here. So my 6 would probably be, obviously Bliss is going to be in it, being the champion. You're gonna have Bayley, Sasha for sure. I think you'll see Mickie James in there. You'll see one member of Absolution, be it Paige, not Paige. Good Lord, I'm so sorry, Paige.
I'm gonna say Sonya Deville. I would say Sonya Deville. I think she's the stronger of the 2.
I think she's the stronger of the 2, but I think they'd go with Mandy, just because if the mixed match challenge shows anything, they already have faith in that, because Goldust announced his new partner tonight since Foxy broke her tailbone,
right.
And it's Mandy Rose.
That actually makes sense in a weird way.
No, it makes sense.
Because they're both golden.
They are Rose Gold, I think, is what they're calling their name, which I am perfectly okay with.
I like it.
Which I'll touch on the mixed match challenge in a little bit, because you didn't watch it, right?
I am about 2 episodes behind. I saw the debut and I'm like fully in love with the concept, but it's the problem with trying to catch up on everything on a limited amount of time and still trying to sleep.
Yeah, that would be an important thing. But so spoiler. Well, okay, not even a spoiler. It's Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss versus Sami and Becky. Who wins?
I'm gonna go with Braun Strowman.
Yeah. So okay. So Braun and Alexa win. I'm gonna spoil the finish because you can still watch it, because it's still gonna be impressive if you watch it. The finish is Becky's in the ring on her back. Braun is in the corner, and he puts Alexa on top of his shoulders, and she does a twisted bliss off of Braun.
Okay, I'm all for that. That is amazing.
So she does a twisted bliss off Braun, and they win, and they have their post-game interview, right? And it's fucking hilarious, because they're in Philly and they know how to work the Philly crowd. So Braun calls Alexa cute and all that, and and Alexa says that Braun's cute too or whatever, and he's like, I think that's a compliment, thanks and all that, and then because they're trying to play off that there's like sexual tension or whatever, and so Alexa goes, we're going all the way, and of course,
yes,
and of course, Braun's looking like he's died and went to heaven. He's just he's just smirking and smiling, and the crowd's going, yes, and then like, cause he's like, oh my God, did she really just say that? And then we're going all the way to the finals of the mixed match challenge, and the crowd just like just they gave everyone this, like, it was a little raunchy. It was a little raunchy.
I don't mind it. A little raunchy is all good.
And I'm happy with that because they're really trying to make this like angle work or whatever. And so one of my friends, because I think he'll listen to this.
The thing that I like about the mixed match challenge, it's, in a way, it's still canon, but it's also like in its own little world.
Correct.
If that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense.
Because arguably, like, Becky Lynch and Sami Zayn, they're opposite sides of the face-heel spectrum on SmackDown. They really shouldn't be working together.
But then you see all the promos of...
But they actually make a good pair because they're entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably the same thing could be said for Carmella and Big E, but they worked pretty well as a group.
Yeah. Like even the Miz and
Banks
Asuka
and Finn
stuff.
Balor is a match made in heaven.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Miz and Asuka stuff, and yeah, I'll translate what she said. Like the Miz knows shit about the Japanese. Yeah. She said the Miz is great, and we're gonna win this thing, and because the Miz is the best partner I've ever had, and like it's hilarious. Like everything, it's comedy. It's comedy promos, and they're making it's entertaining
with good wrestling.
promos with good wrestling.
Great wrestling.
Like the fact that they had Nakamura and Natty as a team, and Nakamura's just pretending to be a cat going meow. Like what? Like,
although that was a cool thing that she gave him the Anvil jacket to come out in.
Yeah, like that's what this whole thing's about, and because especially now, like nowadays, and this is like the only thing I miss about even like 5 years ago, because you don't see it much anymore. You don't see the women and men interacting in storylines anymore, and this is sort of like a whole men and women interacting storyline that they're doing, and I that's one of the reasons why I love it so much, because you're getting this crazy entertaining skits and all that. You freaking have the New Day coming out in Carmella singlets. Like what? Like it's something I didn't know I wanted to see, and something I don't ever want to see again at the same time. But it's just like it's been hilarious so far, and
I will say, like, props to, I want to say more so, like, just to having a lot of WWE superstars find different outlets to show off their personalities.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to give a big credit to Xavier Woods' Austin Creed. Up, Up, Down, Down has been a huge success in getting the New Day even more over, and getting other people over through just being on that show.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And it's all about just showing the personality, and like these, like Natty can have fun as all hell because she's playing EA Sports and she doesn't look like she's just stick in the mud.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like obviously, like, being from the Western New York area and knowing how Luke Harper's personality is outside of the ring and all that, and how cool of a dude he is.
Mhm.
Like, I know how his personality is, but like people who see him up and down, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's hilarious. He's chill." I'm like, "Yeah." He's not a frickin' Viking. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought if you let, the talented people that you have working for you be talented people that you have working for you instead of, here's a piece of paper, say it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It might actually be more entertaining.
Excuse me. So I just happened to check my Facebook real quick, and literally the first thing that I see is from WWE memes, and it says Asuka is a savage, and they show a tweet from Asuka replying to WWE. And the WWE tweet is, win or lose, that was a boss performance by Sasha Banks, tagging Sasha, tagging Asuka, and #Raw. So Asuka replies to the tweet, traces of tears. It was so beautiful, like a cherry blossom. Like,
savage.
Oh my God. I freaking love, like some people don't like the fact that, we have Twitter and there's Twitter angles and all that. But when it comes to like savage tweets like that, or like I guess the biggest feud that I liked, Twitter/video feud, was the whole when Miz and Baron Corbin were going to fight each other.
Mhm.
And like Corbin's cutting the best promos of his life in a car. And then
and they can't get him to. They can't give him anything as good to do in ring or backstage in front of a camera that isn't his phone.
No, exactly. Like they like some of the best. It's stupid. It's so stupid because some of the best promos, have been the Mixed Match Challenge one, because they had that they had creative control in that.
I doubt the creative team really cares about the Mixed Match Challenge.
They give zero fucks about the Mixed Match Challenge. It's the Mixed Match Challenge, in my opinion. What they're doing here, right, is they are just being like, here's a cell phone, you can cut promos for it, if this does well, we'll do more of it and all that, here, take a phone and, do some promos. And the promos are turning out hilarious. And they're turning out, they're turning out great, and people are liking them, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like, they probably told them, okay, try to make these as entertaining as possible, because we really want this to succeed, which is kind of weird, because wouldn't you want to make your shows entertaining as possible so that they can succeed on TV as well?
Right.
Just a little.
Going back to Monday Night Raw, at least they made this Monday Night Raw very successful, very entertaining, very enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
I like that we're just off the bat, big matches, which I like and I dislike, but we're in the era of wrestling where you have to have pay-per-view quality matches on your Raw, because you've set that precedent years ago.
Yeah, and you know what though? I feel like that's not even needed nowadays. I feel like that's where they're kind of screwing themselves. They're sort of shooting themselves in the foot, because they do have 3 hours of content to fill. I completely understand that. But you got to look at some of the quicker matches that we had. Like, I did not expect that Kane. I expected that Kane. Obviously, I expected Strowman to win, but I didn't expect Strowman to murder Kane. It was an entertaining 3-minute match.
Yeah.
You don't have to
have. Followed by a couple of entertaining vignettes involving, Braun Strowman and Corey Graves. Graves who looked absolutely terrified. Props to him for showing that emotion as he's trying to interview Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
And then you have Kurt Angle. Like, how many times do we have to have this talk? don't kill people on live television.
Yeah.
And then Braun just shouting out, like, you said last man standing. So it's like, well, yeah, it's on you, Kurt.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You did put that stipulation on this match.
No, exactly. And it sets up for Kane's return at some point, which, spoiler for the Elimination Chamber people, I think Kane returns, climbs out of the frickin' ring, destroys Braun or something, and then Roman hits like 3 spears in a row and pins him. But I'm not going to talk about the Elimination Chamber anymore because that's just going to disappoint me. But back to Raw, you don't need 4 pay-per-view quality matches a night. Just put on 1, put on 2, but make the other matches entertaining. It's just
you could have stretched this whole build to the Elimination Chamber match for, I don't know, 4 weeks. Like, oh, who's going to qualify this week? We got a qualifying match as your main event.
No, exactly. You don't need to figure it out within the first 2 weeks.
Instead, we had 3.
Yeah, and then next week we're going to have the other 3. We'll know who's in, and then what we're going to get for the next couple weeks after that is going to be disappointing 6-man tags.
Yep, 2 straight weeks of 6-man tags. Like, these are the 3 that are in it. This is it.
Yeah, we're gonna
get Strowman teams with John Cena and Broken Matt or Elias.
Oh, just to shake it up a bit. We're gonna put Cena and Elias. Like how is this team gonna survive each other? They're complete opposites. Like it's sad when we know what the booking is going to be.
Yeah.
Because we've just seen this before. But as you said, they could have done 2 the first week, because I think it's only a 4-week build.
Yeah.
So you need 6 matches. But
still, you could easily do 6 matches in 4 weeks.
Yeah, 2 the first week, you do 2 the second week, you got your 4, and then the next 2 weeks you do 1 apiece. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your build. There's your build for a chamber. And then after that, and then here's the thing. After that final match, you don't even have to have that final match as a main event. You can have it as the opener. So then you have that whole show to build with these characters. You don't need a fucking 6-man tag.
No, you can just have them interact with each other backstage or...
Exactly, because that's something... You have a 3-hour Raw, and you're not doing enough backstage segments. It's why... It's like people, the cruiserweights are on. Oh, piss break. Which is sad because they're putting on phenomenal matches, but it's because you're seeing phenomenal matches beforehand.
Nah.
Like
the other problem that the cruiserweights have, and this is just an observation, it's like integrate them. Let them do stuff with other people on the show.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just like
let Drew Gulak interact with John Cena in a backstage segment that would be funny as hell.
It's like expectation. Your expectations. A couple months ago, when they brought up Kenta, when they brought up Hideo Itami, they didn't have him go to 205 Live right away. They advertised him for 205 Live, but they had him be Finn Balor's mystery partner. So they had Finn and Teo versus I forget who it was. I don't even that's the thing. It might have been the Bar.
I don't remember.
See, I don't remember. See how memorable that fucking match was. But to my point, I'm like, oh cool, they might start actually integrating the 205 Live guys. And before that, they had that whole when Enzo first joined 205 Live, they had that whole one of the better segments of the year was him and Miz on Miz TV, where he interrupts the Miz after announcing Maurice is pregnant or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Miz just Miz had Axel and Bo, you could see it in their faces, questioning if he was going off script and actually shooting on him. Cause
right.
I just recently with the whole shitstorm with Enzo. That recently popped up on my feed again. That that promo, that Miz TV, and he hits, like, Miz hits every nail on the head to the point where, like, the fans are like you can see the fans
what's going on here?
Like, the fans are confused. Like, everyone's fucking confused if, like, and apparently, like, I guess the whole thing like that was supposed to be like the locker room talking through the Miz, sort of thing, like sort of like the backstage officials talking through the Miz, trying to actually get through to Enzo. Maybe if we embarrass him on live TV, he'll fucking get it. That he has all this talent in the world, and, you know.
The answer was nope.
Yeah, because like at one point of the frickin' thing, he says, you know why you're going to 205 Live? It's because no one, he doesn't say fucking, but because no one wants you here. No one wants you in the Raw locker room. No one wants you on Raw. We can't, we can't stand you. Like, that's why they're putting you on 205 Live. Like, and the whole thing before Enzo even went on there, when there were rumors, he's like, I'm 206. I'm 206. They can't put me, like, on social media. They ain't gonna put me on there and all that. And then, of course, when they shove him on there, I took a deuce. Drop down to 205. Like, shut up, dude. Like,
yeah.
It's like, you're gonna make the best out of a shitty situation for yourself. Creative still hasn't learned, and they're gonna just throw the belt on you right away. Piss off one of the best heels in the company. Kill
the best momentum that show had with Neville.
Yeah, kill the momentum. I was in this thing. The biggest thing was I was all for Enzo winning. Not at the beginning. Like, I could understand where they would go. Like, especially since they transitioned Enzo into a heel. I figured, like, they would do it like
cocky heel Enzo eventually grew on me.
Like,
it was super fitting. It made sense.
Yeah.
He could play a crowd like a fiddle.
Yeah. No, it was good. As it's like they said, he has all the talent in the world, but he doesn't know how to use it.
Right.
Like, he could be one of the greatest could have been. He's still released. Like, he could have been one of the greatest managers / performers if he could have worked on his in-ring. He's one of the best talkers. Like, wasted potential up the yin-yang. Like, just so much wasted potential. Obviously, still no updates on that case, but 205 Live on Raw. Back to the original topic before we went on an Enzo tangent.
It seems like it's the same match every time.
It's the same match with it's you're gonna see it. It's like the Rumble pre-show. Phenomenal match. I don't know if you saw the six-man tag.
Six-man tag. It's gonna have a lot of cool, fun spots. You're gonna have a lot of high-paced action. The baby faces go over, and that's it.
No, exactly.
Rinse, rather, repeat. We'll see you on Raw.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it'll be the same match. Maybe they won't do they won't do a six-man tag, but they'll do a tag team match with Kalisto on the outside and TJP on the outside. Oh, that's going to make a game changer of a difference. It's still going to be the same other four guys who were competing the other night.
Right.
So it's not going to, it's not going to make a damn difference. You need to have different matches on there. I mean, it's kind of hard. I understand it was kind of hard for them, especially over the last couple of weeks. They lost Enzo.
Lost Rich Swann, Neville. Still nobody knows what's going on with Neville.
Like, Neville's sitting at home, not getting paid. His contract's frozen, I guess. So he can't even go and work on the indie scenes. They froze his contract. Until he decides if he's gonna come back to work or not. If he decides that he quits, because he didn't officially quit. He just took his ball and went home. So he still has a decision to make. He can either return to work and his contract resumes, and he will have however 2 years or whatever remaining on his contract to play it out, or he can quit and miss out on
2
all
years
this money.
Worth of pay.
Years worth of pay. Probably get blackballed by WWE and all that, which you don't want.
He can sit and have himself a pity party with CM Punk.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, it's like
have a 4-hour sit down interview with Colt Cabana in a studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah. Like, see, now, if I was WWE, because we all understand the reason why he walked out and left, they were going to have Enzo beat him clean on Raw after already losing to Enzo via dirty roll-up pin and all that. Like, because he obviously saw what other people, other people saw. If I was WWE, I'd be contacting him every day, apologizing my ass off. We're so sorry.
No, we're sorry. This didn't work. We were stupid. Why did we trust this guy? You're still our guy. You're the number one. You can come back. You'll be the number one heel champion. You can just be like, it never happened.
Well, yeah,
wipe it under the rug or something stupid.
Yeah, because that was the whole thing too, right? Because the whole thing was.
And we can have you do phenomenal matches for the rest of the year with, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Cedric Alexander.
Yeah, it would. Like, I would love to see Neville in this crew, because the big thing for 205 Live now is they're going to have a 16-man tournament. Where they found 16 cruiserweights, I don't know, because there ain't 16 active cruiserweights on the damn roster. But they're doing a 16-man tournament. The 2 matches tonight that they started off with. See, 205 Live is doing it right. They're not having fucking 4. They didn't have 4 fucking matches in an hour for the tournament. This is literally, they announced it as this tournament, the finals, not going to be at Elimination Chamber. The finals are at WrestleMania. So this is going to be
there you go. That's how you do it right.
3 month tournament. So it's going to last. So the first 2 matches that happened tonight were Cedric Alexander versus Grand Metalik, which was a great match.
As it should have been. Would have expected it to be.
And then the second match, they did TJP versus Tyler Bate.
That actually should have been a really good one as well. I like Tyler Bate.
It was a really good one, and it's why I was late getting on, because I was finishing watching up that match. So they had, because the whole premise that they did for that was the first ever UK champion versus the first ever cruiserweight champion. So I'm like, okay, I see you, booking committee. I see you writers for 205 Live actually trying to give a shit now.
But yeah, it's sad when, even as like me, as someone who, like, I script a half-ass cartoon character-based wrestling show that I put on the internet, and I can write a better tournament than Monday Night Raw does to put people in an elimination chamber.
Yep. No.
Which
it's
might have just gave you a little bit of a spoiler of something that's going to happen on that said show, but I have not said who's winning or who's in it.
Yeah. No.
One of which, or both of which, may be talking to you right now.
Yeah. I figured as much. I figured as much. But it is pretty sad. It's sad when you can see
that
guys,
I can stretch this out and make it last almost the entire season.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you could do that, or I mean, I know we're going to discuss some things off podcast too, for it, but it's just funny how, like, we could take breaks with the EHWF and all that, and our storylines still are still coherent with, like we know what the fuck we plan on doing. Like, we actually have this shit planned in advance, and it's sad that the only thing that WWE's playing in advance, to touch on a topic we talked about earlier, is Reigns and Lesnar.
Is Reigns and Lesnar.
Like, that's the only thing they've planned out. They're just like, let's wing it. Let's give Enzo the belt.
Hopefully they'll eventually be like, well, this whole Reigns and Lesnar thing doesn't seem what is making a lot of money. Maybe we should go with this Braun Strowman guy, who everyone seems to really, really like and get behind, and he's a monster babyface.
Oh, that's okay. If any more evidence comes out against Roman Reigns for that steroid ring thing, they'd be stupid. They would be so stupid. Like, with the amount of mainstream media press that you get with WrestleMania, you're going to really put Reigns, who is under investigation now for the illegal distribution of steroids, buying steroids off the sky and all. Like, you're really going to fucking put that man in the spotlight for the main event of Mania. I don't see that happening. So if any more evidence comes out,
not a chance.
There's not a chance. But back to 205 Live, 16 superstars, and they already announced the two more matches for next week. So we've got 8 now. We've got 8 of the superstars. Next week it's God. What are the matches next week? Time to bring up my old trusty friend Google. 205 Live Cruiserweight Tournament. Because there were 2 really good matches announced for next week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 2 matches announced for next week were. Let's see here. Come on, show me the matches for next week, WWE. Don't be that guy. And they're gonna be that guy. I guess I'm gonna have to go to like Cage Side Seats or something. Damn it. Don't want to go to them, but okay. All right. So next week it's going to be. Next week it is Kalisto versus Lince Dorado.
Okay.
And
has a lot of potential. I'm not as high on Lince.
I enjoy Lince. And then the other match is Hideo Itami versus, in his main roster debut, Roderick Strong.
Okay, that has some pretty good potential too. Although I know some people who are not as high on Roderick Strong as I am. I think he's just super talented in-ring worker.
Yeah.
But a lot of people give him all kinds of flack for not being as strong in the promo area.
Mm-hmm. Though the stuff that they did in NXT with him, with the the documentary stuff or whatever, was pretty good. I think those are going to be 2 phenomenal matches because it's like they're finally figured out, maybe we should bring some of these guys up from NXT and maybe use some of these guys from the UK division. Like,
yeah, why not?
So they have 8 more spots to fill.
I know they don't have that many.
Yeah, they don't have that many. They don't have that many cruiserweights. So let me see here. Where is the 205 Live roster? 205 Live. Alrighty. So literally the 205. Okay, this is already horrible. They still have Neville listed. But
he's still under contract.
He's technically still under contract. Alright, so so we've seen Cedric. I'm just going to X out people here. We've seen Cedric. Seen Gran Metalik.
Yep.
We've seen TJP. So
you're going to see Hideo Itami.
Going to see Hideo. Gonna see Kalisto. You're gonna see Lindsay. All right, so
I think that leaves you with Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, Arya Davari,
Tozawa,
Akira Tozawa,
Mustafa Ali.
Who I completely forgot was a thing.
And that's it. Because Kendrick's hurt, Neville's under contract but not there, Noam Dar's out for a little while. Oh, gentleman, Jack Gallagher too. So that's 6 people. So they need 2 other. If my
Although
math is correct.
you did say Rich Swann, that whole situation got resolved in a positive light for him.
Yep, charges were dropped and all that. So could see Swann in this, which would mean they would need 1 more or 2 more. Now here's my money. I will put money on Gregory Helms.
I would say Johnny Gargano makes the most logical sense.
I mean, Gargano would make the most logical sense, but they're setting up for the whole, like, the people who are on 205, seems like they don't have anything for them, per se.
Yeah, and Gargano, they're highly going with the Gargano Ciampa.
Yeah, and they're going highly with, yeah. The only thing I can think of is they did Roddy versus Bate as the pre-show, like the pre-show, like it wasn't aired for TakeOver. So they recorded it as a number 1 contenders match for the UK title, which is going to air not this week, but next week on NXT. So obviously, you know, Bate and Roddy, one of them wins. You know, but Roddy's still going to be on 205, and Bate was on 205. So, I mean, by that logic, Gargano would make sense that they could pull double duty, because they wouldn't be needed every week.
No.
Like, that's the thing. They've got an hour show to fill, and it seems like they might do 2 or 3 matches per week now. You know, 2 matches for the title tournament, and then once people are getting eliminated, you can start doing your feuds again. So already we've seen Grand Metalik get eliminated, and I mean, Bates been eliminated, but Bates not on the technical roster. Spoiler, by the way, my bad. My bad. Spoilers. I still don't. I mean, I guess it makes sense that they went with a cruiserweight guy over Bate, but.
I feel bad. You have Pete Dunne carrying this really nice looking UK title, and they rarely do anything with it.
Oh no, they don't know what they're doing with it. They're just like,
And they have a phenomenal talent holding on to it. It's just sitting there like.
Now they have. Yeah, but no, go ahead.
It's like, hello, I'm one of the most talented wrestlers I've seen. I had one of your best matches of 2017, and you got nothing for me? Okay, cool.
Not only that, they have, for the people who, quote unquote, you know, they have a deal, but they can work the indies and all that. Like, they have a talented UK roster. They have, Wolfgang. They have frickin'
Danny Burch.
They have Tyler Bate. They have Pete Dunne, obviously. They have.
I think they have the entire Mustache Mountain.
Yeah, they do. They have Mandrews. You know, Mark Andrews.
Yep.
Joseph Connors, who kills it in Defiant Wrestling and all that. / What Culture Pro. It used to be What Culture, and now it's Defiant. I don't like what happened with that situation, but because once they stopped being What Culture, I stopped watching. So it's like, I'm not gonna watch anymore, because those obviously Pacitti, Bompier, and I forget who else left, but 3 of them left, and they're like, we can take our wrestling company too, right? Wrong. You mean 3 people who are main main on your TV screen for What Culture Pro Wrestling, and you're just gonna try to replace them real quick and change the name, and like the whole show was kind of built by them. Like, and
right.
you pissed them off enough that they went and created their own network. Like how did you find a way to piss them off so badly? That's what I'd like to know. Then there's the whole. I'm not even gonna get into what happened with Blampier, but it's ridiculous. To me, that's completely. There was no need for him to apologize for that story. If you guys wanna look up that story, go ahead. It's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. I don't know. It's another one of those whole Enzo. Like, it's nowhere. Like, don't get me wrong. It is literally like Enzo's case is like a 10. This is like a 1.
Right.
Like, there is no comparison. But like Blampier felt like he needed to issue an apology for it and all that, and it's just. I think
he's going. Isn't he going to like some form of rehab?
I guess. You know what? I'll touch on it. I'll touch on this real fast. The story, for those of you who don't know, Blampier felt like he abused his power by asking for nudes, and now these are nudes of women who are 18 plus. They're legal adults. They have consent. They can say no.
Right.
It's not like he. To me, abusing your power is what happened in Hollywood with Weinstein. That is abusing your power.
Absolutely.
What Blampier did, because we'll never know the whole story, because no one's ever going to tell the whole story, and it's not like he even had any accusers. It was just sort of found out.
Right.
That they asked for nudes and got him. And now he's remorseful, and I can bet you anything it was his I don't know if he was married or had a girlfriend or whatever, but it was probably his significant other who found out and got all
hey, why are you getting these?
Why are you getting these? All that. I mean, it's I feel like he didn't have any need to apologize. I feel like he didn't abuse his power. Obviously these women wrestling fans knew who he was and all that, yeah. And if they're having a conversation and they're flirting a little bit and he happens to ask for it and you actually send them, that's on you.
Right.
It's not like he went and said, "Hey, at least
you'll be on the main card of What Culture Pro Wrestling if you send me these."
Yeah, it's just Yeah, I don't think that happened. Hey, you could be a valet in What Culture if you send me a picture of your boobs. I don't think that happened, and I'd like to have faith in humanity that that people would be like, oh, here's a picture of my boobs to be a valet for What Culture Pro Wrestling. If it was WWE. Maybe that's abuse.
Forward this to Vince McMahon, please.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's another one of those cases where it's just I don't know why he apologized, but good on him if he's.
Actually, I could see that. I could see a few people getting into WWE that way. Forward this to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon looks at it. Gary Stridham. Wow.
Yep. There's literal that's the thing too. There was that whole questionable case in 2006 with Vince and a tanning salon and all that. That's something I'm not getting
resurfaced.
into. That now that he announced the XFL, it's let's bring up this shit from 12 years ago again.
Funny how that pops back up again when you have something big and expensive show up in the news.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. Yeah, something that already was cleared and all that. It's funny how that just pops right back up. But I'm not going to touch on that at all because that's an old story.
I think with the last few minutes we got, we should go back to the MMA fighting elephant in the room. We briefly got to talk about it. I don't think it got picked up on audio, potentially, but I think we have to talk about Ronda Rousey.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who has officially signed what is claimed to be a full-time contract.
Which is great.
Keyword, full-time contract, with World Wrestling Entertainment.
Which I love. I honestly love the move. It brings more mainstream media to WWE.
It gets Ronda Rousey out of the octagon, so she's no longer using her face as a punching bag.
Yeah, it gets her out of the octagon. Who knew that she wasn't supposed to have her eyes shut? Who knew?
Who knew that if you step into the octagon against the literal toughest Brazilian lesbian in the world, and you forget to dodge, you will get your face knocked out.
Yeah, who would have thought?
And I mean no offense to that. I adore Amanda Nunes. One of my favorite fighters. I'm just stating the fact that is how she identifies herself.
No, I know.
Now, given that she has a full-time contract, and with us being on the road to WrestleMania, when do we see exactly what they have planned for Ronda Rousey? Does she wrestle any time before WrestleMania?
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. She still is finishing up filming a movie. She obviously pointed at the Mania sign, so we know there's going to be some sort of match there for her. So, regardless if that's against a champion or not, which it might be a little too soon, in my opinion, for that. It's sort of like how they had the title match with Blazer too fast, in my opinion. But it was a smart, takeover was a smart move. They had Ember Moon and her, and it was a good match. And luckily they didn't just give her the belt right away, which is fine by me. If you're gonna do that, have that match work out the exact way it did. And that, it's like, because I honestly thought NXT was gonna screw up booking for a change. I'm like, oh man. They're
going to give it to Shayna Baszler because Rousey's coming in.
Yeah, I'm like, they're just going to give her the belt because, yeah, exactly, because Rousey's coming in. And they're going to maybe try to set up a 4-horsewoman thing and all that. And I'm like, but seeing how that match turned out, seeing the finish, you couldn't have booked that more perfectly. It made Blazer look strong, and it made Ember Moon look strong.
Ember Moon still your Defiant champion. Granted, she took a beat down. Props to her for selling that arm injury throughout the entirety of the Rumble as well.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That was actually another one of my favorite little moments in the match. We had the return of the Ember Moon Asuka rivalry for about 4 minutes.
And it was hilarious because Asuka, of course, being the savage that she is, points and laughs at her arm or what. oh, your arm hurt?
Oh yeah, remember I was kind of the heel down in NXT. Let me continue that story.
Yeah. Let me just continue laughing at your hurt arm and how big of an idiot you are for competing in this match.
I was upset it didn't get as much of a pop as it did. She pulls off the Eclipse in the middle of the Rumble.
Yeah.
With selling a bad arm.
Yeah.
And I will, to this day, that is one of the best moves that WWE has.
No, yeah, without a doubt.
So anyway, back to Ronda Rousey.
Real quick comment though, it seems like Stephanie McMahon had no clue who Kairi Sane was. just based off commentary. Oh, I love this elbow. Who is she again? This isn't Asuka. Like, oh yeah, she won the Mae Classic. That's right.
That's
sort of,
right. Didn't I shake her hand and give her the trophy or something? I don't forget.
I don't know. She obviously had no clue about Kairi Sane though. So, but that was just a funny little moment. Back to Rousey though.
So yeah, I also don't see her doing anything until WrestleMania. I obviously think she's not 100% in-ring ready.
Probably not. Though the rumors have been circulating for like 6 months now that she was coming, so she's probably been training for at least half a year.
So I mean, granted, there's stuff that's gonna come easy to her. There's stuff that's gonna become not very easily. I think work punches might be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I'm just.
I mean, they're kind of
giving my opinion as a person who used to punch people in the face for a living. I think having to work a punch is gonna not be as good. But she's an actress, so there's that.
Yeah, and if there's another thing, you can always just go to Lesnar route and throw real punches, and then curse at Braun Strowman for kneeing you in the face.
Oof.
But
yeah, that was one hell of a receipt.
Yeah.
Like, more reason I want to see those two just like. Can I have this as like one of the co-main events of WrestleMania? Please, can we just have like Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Falls Count anywhere in Florida?
Yeah, in the state. Like, just have them do the Goldust Piper gimmick, and just have them travel throughout the whole fucking state, and
just like Brock Lesnar's running away, Braun Strowman's in a truck following him, Paul Heyman's in a car trying to keep up with the chaos.
It would be hilarious. It'd be something that's been lacking.
It'd be enjoyable. It'd be entertaining.
World Wrestling what? Entertainment.
Oh no, it's Walk with Elias now.
I mean, it is. But
bring the entertainment back in my WWE. I think that's a strong way to end it.
Yeah, you definitely need to bring the entertainment back. Real quick on Rousey, I think she shows up at Chamber again. She just shows up, stares down the winner of that match,
points to the sign. Maybe have something with Asuka. Asuka's hasn't decided who she's facing yet.
Yeah, I think maybe Asuka even kicks her this time around for trying to steal the spotlight, because we could potentially see a triple threat with Rousey, Asuka, and whoever's chosen. I think that's a big possibility, because you can set up Asuka and Rousey too.
You can protect either Asuka or Rousey and have one of them still become the champion.
Yep, and then obviously the champion takes the fall. So, that's just one of many ways.
That would make arguably the elimination chamber a little bit easier to predict, because I think that would mean, given who would be able to afford taking the loss in that situation, I think that would mean Alexa Bliss probably retains.
Yeah.
But it's a little early to tell.
Oh, it's definitely a little early to tell. I mean, you could even give it to the lovable Bayley just to be a WrestleMania transition champion.
Mm-hmm.
Just because because then you can play the sympathy card of, she has to face Rousey and Asuka. That's a whole another level of sympathy booking
Although I did like how they were setting it up for the men's. It's like, well, so if you win this match, you get the right to go into the Elimination Chamber, which is no picnic. And then if you win the Elimination Chamber, you get to face Brock Lesnar.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So what exactly do you win? Oh, the chance to go to WrestleMania. No, you get the chance to get beat up by Brock Lesnar. I think that was Paul Heyman's tweet, which probably the best Twitter account, WWE Creative-ish.
Yes.
Immediately pointed out, I was like, how is a tweet from Paul Heyman our best promo on Raw?
Right. That just goes back to the whole bring back the E in WWE. Because I love my technical wrestling. I love my high flying matches. I love, I freaking, as I said before, I loved CN and Gargano. Like, NXT does it right. NXT still has a level of entertainment. Still not as much as I'd like to see, but at least they have some sort of level of character development. And
I mean, in NXT, you have your Cien Almas Gargano matches, but you have characters like the Velveteen Dream.
Exactly. No, exactly. And it's like they were trying, like, to harken back to the very beginning of this episode when we probably didn't have audio. Both the Rumbles, the whole show, bell to bell, was great. And the whole, like, one of the big reasons for me that the men's Rumble went really over for me, besides the fact of Nakamura winning and all that, is Heath Slater as a punching bag.
Oh, Heath Slater, unrecognized MVP of that Royal Rumble.
Because that was just hilarious.
4 minutes without entering the match itself, as he gets destroyed by Corbin.
Yep.
Who's turning his wheels right now at this point.
Great booking on their part, though.
Then proceeds to get
Corbin.
everybody to just lay into him a little bit, but he does get a quick elimination on Shamo.
Yeah.
Before eventually getting eliminated himself.
Yeah. This man gets, each person just beats him up, and, Big E shoves pancakes down his throat that were hidden God knows where.
I don't even want to know.
I don't want to know.
He probably threw those same pancakes at Bobby Roode today.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh. But yeah. So I mean, because we didn't touch on the men's rumble at all, so we can end it off on a quick little men's rumble.
Heath Slater is great.
Yeah, Heath Slater.
Kofi Kingston saved by pancakes.
Right. Like, I'm like, okay, how are they going to do it this year? Because last year's was kind of a dud with his elimination, and they used pancakes. And I don't know why, but I loved it.
Pancakes are over.
The pancakes are over, and then they just completely cheerleader launch him into the ring, which I loved, which was great.
Can we say this right now? Please, WWE, pull the trigger on Rusev. It's time.
I think they might shock us all Thursday.
He is so over.
Yeah, I think they might shock the world Tuesday and have Rusev go over. We talked about this a little bit before the stream, how in that matchup, because I didn't watch SmackDown. I was sort of reading spoilers tonight, and then I just watched Mixed Match in 205, which is weird for me. But we had no Ziggler, right?
I don't believe so. I was watching, because I worked tonight, I was watching a couple of the highlights that WWE posts on YouTube.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything regarding Dolph Ziggler in anything.
Which is weird, because you have him, like, I feel like it was a great number 30 surprise to have Ziggler come out. The way I personally would have booked it, I would have had him be Final Four.
Yep.
I would, because it makes him look like, oh, hey, he's supposed to be here and all all that, and it gives the impression of, oh my God, they might actually pull the trigger and have Dolph win. So it would have given that sort of vibe. It was a good number 30 pick, but then you follow it up with not doing anything.
Yeah, he literally,
week.
I think he gets eliminated within 2 minutes.
He gets eliminated within 2 minutes, and then you don't use him on SmackDown. You don't mention that, oh my God, Ziggler didn't retire. Ziggler's actually still here. Like,
right.
You don't have any interaction between him and Rude. So I mean, that's why I'm holding out hope for next Tuesday that they're going to have Rusev go over via Dolph Ziggler coming out and screwing Rude, thus setting up continuing their feud without a belt.
That would make perfect sense.
And it would actually make sense, but that's giving myself too much faith in the creative team and booking committee. So in reality, in WWE's mind, Aiden English gets tossed out and Rude wins. Like
something along those lines.
Something along those lines. But
it was easy. It was an easy to just cite based on just pure crowd. Rusev is a star of that team. Aiden English got no reaction.
Well, because you know what the biggest issue with Aiden English is? He should have came out to the Rusev's theme, or should create a brand new theme that incorporates Rusev Day. Because I think, because I was confused. I'm like, what is this opera music? And then I'm like, oh, it's Aiden English.
Right.
Like, he would have gotten a bigger pop if it wasn't his, operatic theme music. It would have been yeah, like, oh, it's Aiden English, yeah, Rusev Day, And also, big mistake by WWE not having English out there with Rusev at one point. Having Rusev already been eliminated before English. That's one of the biggest mistakes they made in that Rumble. Not having those two in the ring at the same time. Because you could have teased a little breakup, maybe. You could there's a whole bunch of different things they could have done there, but alas, no one's perfect. The show obviously wasn't perfect. I still give it an A.
I loved it. I was very happy with it.
I was pleasantly surprised because talking to my friends, I set my expectations for that were so low for the men's Rumble. Like everything else, I'm like, oh cool, we've got some solid matches, and I'm like, oh, I remember the last 2 or 3 years of men's Rumbles, and I'm like, I'm not looking forward to Reigns winning. So I was pleasantly surprised. I was surprised that they actually had surprises this year. Because if you remember last year, it was literally Jack Gallagher. Like, I could be confusing last year and the year before, but I believe it was last year that it was literally only Ty Dillinger and Zach.
Ty Dillinger coming
Gallagher.
At 10.
Yeah.
And gentleman Jack Gallagher, and maybe if you want to call it a surprise, the chinless wonder James Ellsworth.
He was. But see, he's on the main. If you're on the main roster, you're not a surprise. Or if you're on the main roster and you have an injury, I felt like maybe Jeff Hardy could have came back if he was. But I didn't know if he was cleared or not. Obviously, he's not. So that would have been a surprise.
He's just cleared to do a poker game spot.
Yeah, exactly. And then coming out after the show and doing declaring himself obsolete with Woken Matt. So I'm glad that they're going to still set up for that. But we've gone to 2 hours, 12 minutes. We didn't touch on any sports this time around besides Tom Brady. Let's try not to make that a regular thing of just talking about Tom.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what next week has in store. It is Super Bowl Sunday.
It is Super Bowl Sunday. I might even call you up in a couple days before Super Bowl Sunday, so we could do a little bit of predictions. We could touch on the Baseball Hall of Fame. We could do a little mini hour-long episode or something like that, just to touch, because there's a lot of topics that we didn't really didn't really scrape the surface on.
Mhm.
Because big week, it's still a big week in wrestling.
Yeah, this was a wrestling dominated show.
Oh no, this was a wrestling dominated show, and we didn't even talk about stuff that's going on in New Japan. The fact that now Twitch TV is carrying exclusive wrestling on there. They now have House of Hardcore on there. They have some AAA shows are on there. Impact has a 24/7 show on there, and like they're doing this whole 10 days of wrestling event. You know, there's big, huge news in New Japan with Cody. Just Cody, no Rhodes. So we still got a bunch we can touch on later on in the week. Probably maybe Friday or Saturday we can get some Super Bowl predictions in there too.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a third co-host in and
Possibly.
all that. But I think this is good. 2 hours 15 minutes of a wrestling dominated podcast. Of course, it was a big, not only a wrestling dominated podcast, but a WWE dominated podcast.
As it should. This was a good weekend for WWE.
Yeah, it was a big weekend for WWE. I mean, we touched a little bit on TakeOver, didn't really touch a lot of it. To be fair, though, you still need to watch TakeOver, so
I do.
That's
From
why
everything
we
I've heard
didn't really
about
touch. Yeah. Everything. It's been great, because I went to a friend's house and I missed the first the tag title match with Fish and O'Reilly. I heard it was a good match, but obviously I didn't miss much. So I'm still gonna probably rewatch that. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff we can talk about. Over the weekend.
I posed that on one of these episodes because I know you've claimed to be a big fan of early 2001 WCW. I'm a fan of the quote-unquote cartoony 1995, 1996 era. I think we should pick one show from both eras and kind of just like have a whole episode dedicated to just going over those.
Oh, we could do that. We could do that as a mini episode too. That would be a good in the week. In fact, you know what I'll do here is I'll probably label this.
I think that's a
2A.
good point to say. Anybody who would like to leave a comment, one of our subscribers in the comment section below, pick a pay-per-view, and maybe we'll see if that fits the criteria.
Yes, those who are actually listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, I'm gonna try to do some more social media, like creating a Ringing It Facebook page soon. Trying to get a better, I might keep the logo, probably not because it's piss poor, but of course it was a Winging It logo, so
it was thrown together last minute.
It was literally thrown together in 2 minutes, so that's not bad for 2 minutes of work. But I'll probably change up the logo a little bit. We'll get a little more of a social media presence. Might figure out how the fuck SoundCloud works. We'll get this thing going a little better. This will probably be episode 2A. We'll do like 2B and maybe even we'll do 2B, a 2B follow-up, a little hour-long, maybe hour and a half long podcast to complement this with we will literally force ourselves not to talk about WWE unless something major happens between now and like Friday or Saturday.
Right. It might be a predominantly me defending the fact that the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl podcast.
It also, something else we didn't touch on, how, it will come back, we'll talk about WWE for like 10 minutes on the next podcast because we've got to just talk about how WWE's poaching all of TNA's former talent. how now Rockstar Spud is the GM of 205 Live, how Jeremy Borash is signed with WWE, how Bobby Lashley's coming to WWE, even though Lashley obviously was a WWE talent before TNA, but still it's a huge deal. You know, how they're just like, we'll take you, we'll take you, we'll take you. Okay, good luck in Canada. Like, so, I mean, we got still a ton more to talk about.
There's always going to be more to talk about every week.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So we'll cover some Baseball Hall of Fame next week, Super Bowl talk, a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of WWE, a little bit of New Japan, some Bullet Club information, etc., etc. But I think also you had a good idea that we'll call them like a special. Maybe we'll do like one a month, or maybe one or two a month. One from your 1995 WWF-ish era, and one from like my late 2000, 2001 WCW.
I mean, I already have a suggestion for the 1995 WWE. I strongly suggest SummerSlam '95. Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, match 2, ladder match.
Okay.
But arguably the single worst WWE Championship match in history, Big Daddy Cool Diesel against the immovable Mabel.
Oh God. I'm not going to look forward to that match, but as we'll do with that, we'll be forced to watch the whole card. In fact,
Nothing but pure bollocks.
Yeah, and you know what we could even do, because I listened to Tony Schiavone's podcast, What Happened When, with Conrad Thompson and Tony Schiavone, and what they do from time to time is they will fire up the old WWE Network, and they will, at the same time, especially since, you know, we have this screen share that we can do here, we could watch the show together and do live commentary over the show, and then people could follow along with what the fuck we're watching and you know what we're talking about. So we'll figure that out another time.
Yeah, we'll figure out how it works. It'll probably take us about 2 hours to get it proper, and it'll probably fuck up a few times, but we'll get it there.
Oh yeah, we'll get it there. This is the last time I'm using this Bluetooth headset, so I mean, I'll be able to do the do the music intro and all that a little smoother, and hopefully not screw up anything, not have you talking to me in my ear for 20 minutes and not on the not on the video, but still it's gonna be a huge troll on me, as if the recording was still recording you, your audio, and
who knows,
flipping out for no reason. But who knows? We're gonna go ahead and end this here. Any last words before you're cut off? Because I have to switch to desktop audio.
I don't know when it's gonna drop. I'm waiting for certain people to send me things so I can put it up on YouTube. But we will have the first episode. We're crowning a new champion for EHWF. YouTube.com/EHWFCAW.
Alrighty, and I wonder who that person could possibly be. Certainly no one on this call named Don. Certainly no one. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised in your email in about 20 minutes.
All right.
So, anyways, going to switch over the audio here. Going to go ahead and play a little outro music. In fact, the outro music that we're going to play today is it's going to be one of the MVPs of NXT TakeOver. If my Spotify would not crash on me, that would be great. But one of the MVPs of TakeOver hell of a main event with CN. We're going to be Rebel Heart, Johnny Gargano's theme. Enjoy the little outro music here as it starts to play. And we will see you in the next episode of the Ringin' It Podcast. For Stan the Man, this is Big Don. Twitch.tv/EHWFF Big Don if you want to watch this live. YouTube.com. Excuse me, as I choke in a critical moment. YouTube.com/EHWFF Big Don, which is probably where you're watching it. But in case you're on Twitch, leave a follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, hit that little bell, all the good stuff. Thanks for listening, guys, and we are out.